Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author and now has 5 books in the Zeta series. Hi Judy.
Hi Paula, hi everyone.
Today we're going to talk about how our consciousness is expanding in this present energy. Most of us can feel this expansion in some way, both in small ways but also in more profound ways. One thing that appears to be coming up for some people are past life memories. Not everyone has memory of past lives. We may understand that yes, everything is happening in divine timing, but to have conscious recall is something else. Judy has quite strong memories of one particular past life, and she also has things happening now that are coming up for her specifically to do with this past life. So before she shares what's been happening, we would like to remind you that this is all in alignment with love. This is simply a part of us moving into that 5D energy, which is all about love and oneness.
Yes, Paula, that's so true. In our recent podcasts, we've been talking quite a lot about the process of consciousness expansion from 3D to 5D. Something very interesting has happened to me over the past few weeks, which provides a deeply personal but very good illustration of how this expansion manifests and impacts upon us. The complexity of my experience makes it hard to put into words, but it has served to provide some interesting validation of a past life that I've been aware of since my present life childhood. It also serves to illustrate a 5D opening up process. Ever since early childhood, I felt a deep connection and almost obsession with the country of Russia. I recall it around the age of 2 or maybe even earlier, as I was just learning to talk, saying words to my parents in a foreign tongue, which I now believe was Russian. Just to add in here, there is no Russian heritage in my family, so it could not have come down through my DNA. My favourite childhood game consisted of walking through our rather bushy Australian garden with a stuffed toy dog under my arm, which to my child mind was my pet wolf. My wolf always followed me when I walked in the forest collecting herbs and medicinal plants, which, as my present life child, I pretended to brew up in a pot over an imaginary fire. I knew that forest like the back of my hand, and as I grew older, I also knew with the very essence of my being that it was the Black Forest in southwestern Germany. In that life, I was part of a Romani, which is gypsy tribe, who travelled widely through Russia, Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia and Germany. The Black Forest was an important destination for us because of the energy portals situated there. My role in the tribe was that of a shaman, hence my fascination with herbal plants. Taking part in a meditation circle in the late 1980s to early 1990s in this life provided more clarity and confirmation on this past life. Our teacher was a very talented psychic medium who watched over us as we meditated to observe what was happening around us on deeper energy levels. As we now talk about in our podcasts, we are surrounded by multiple dimensions, all occupying the same space and time, with everything being right here, right now, if we have the more expanded 5D sensing to pick up on it. What my meditation teacher saw clearly with me was this quite recent past life as a male gypsy travelling through Eastern Europe. She knew nothing about me, as we'd only met recently, and I'd not spoken to her about my childhood obsession with Russia. In fact, by that time, I'd almost forgotten it myself. But every week as I sat in meditation, this other life overshadowed me so strongly that my teacher, who was also a psychic artist, was able to paint a portrait for me from back then. She also picked up on some details of a talisman I'd worn around my neck and a word in our Romani gypsy language, neither of which she could possibly have known, but both turned out to be amazingly accurate. These meditation sessions were not always pleasant because in that life I died in a Nazi concentration camp. When this came up, my teacher, ever watchful, would intervene and bring me out of trance. What this memory involved was being tied to a chair and interrogated for information. I'd been a shaman of my tribe who spent much time in the Black Forest where the Untersberg mountain is situated. This is known for the portals that Hitler sought, leading to what is generally referred to as the inner earth, but which are really other dimensions. As a shaman, I knew about these portals. My death to that life involved being injected with a drug to get me to talk. Instead, it had the effect of releasing me from my body. One night in our meditation group, another clairvoyant, along with our teacher, saw this happen. Our teacher intervened quickly, bringing me out of trance. What they both saw was a small, pale-coloured being with very large, dark eyes coming up out of my crown chakra as my physical human body remained tied to the chair. In that life, as in the present one, I operated through a dual soul ET consciousness. It was this consciousness that they saw vacating the physical earth human body. Certain happenings over the past few weeks have now brought this past life back into my awareness. This has involved connecting with the person who back then was responsible for my transition. Looking back on that life from the 5D perspective, I feel no animosity whatsoever. As we repeatedly say in our podcasts, in the greater reality, there are no accidents, and so-called death is an illusion. We freely choose the time, place, and circumstances of our transition before we are even born. Everything is being balanced out perfectly between myself and this fellow traveller on the universal path of evolution. Operating through a dual soul consciousness back then, the death of my physical earth plane body in that life was timed perfectly to enable the ET part of my consciousness awareness to vacate and return fully to the off-planet body, which was preparing to take part in a major mission, the mission we are now carrying out. The earth-human understanding that the soul had acquired during that earth life was needed for the coming mission. It's most likely that a pre-birth agreement would have been made with the one who took my life to assist with my transition at that time. He was simply fulfilling his side of the agreement. This concept was very well illustrated in the Harry Potter story when the seeming villain, Professor Severus Snape, takes the life of the much-loved Professor Albus Dumbledore. In the end, it turned out to have been an arranged agreement between them. Understanding this concept is what 5D consciousness is all about, part of which is the fact that in the greater reality there are no victims or perpetrators. I totally understand how difficult it is for us to accept this concept when viewed through 3D awareness, but it is this lack of a higher awareness that drives all the wars and other conflicts here on Earth.
Wow. Wow, Judy. So in the greater reality, there are no victims or perpetrators. And like you said, it is difficult for us to accept this concept when viewed through our 3D awareness. But so importantly, it is this lack of higher awareness that drives all of the wars and other conflicts here on Earth. What you've just laid out for us is it's a great teaching and specific to this time on Earth as we navigate this evolutionary shift in consciousness and see so many people leaving the planet for one reason or another. Oftentimes it doesn't make sense when viewed through our 3D awareness. Extraordinary that this has come back up for you now to assist humanity. Or maybe not. This is exactly why you are here.
As Maris always reminds us, in the greater reality there are no accidents or mistakes. Experiencing this firsthand has been a major breakthrough for me by providing clear evidence of higher forces at work. This is what opening up to 5D is all about, and I'm sure as we move into it more fully, other people will receive such first-hand evidence of its reality. Just like with ET contact and other 4 and 5D realities, personal experience is the real awakener, the proof of the pudding, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle and we just get stuck in that one little piece.
Exactly, because our 3D human consciousness is so limited. We just cannot perceive the bigger picture, but our higher self can. And so as we shift up into 5D reality, we'll be able to perceive more and more. And I can see that I needed to experience this to be able to speak out about it here.
Yeah. Well, Judy, since this is our last Just Love podcast before Christmas, and Christmas and the New Year are times of reflection and new beginnings, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions pertaining to this time of the year, and not only to this time of the year, but to this time that we find ourselves in on the planet. We are moving from a 3D consciousness to a 5D consciousness, or as you always say, from fourth world to fifth world consciousness. So in light of what you've just shared with us about your experience of past lives, I think you've just answered my questions. However, I will go ahead and ask anyway. So the first question is about reflection. With regards to all of the teachings that you have received from Maris over the years, and all of the things that you teach us here to assist humanity during this shift, what is it that you have gleaned, or what has transpired and played out for you the most over this past year?
Oh, really? A lot of stuff, but really being gifted with this practical example of how the greater reality operates and how everything balances out in the end. That past life has affected my present life so deeply, as past lives do with all of us, especially the more traumatic ones. To experience the proof of the reality of this, along with a better understanding of others who were involved back then, has given me a massively deep sense of peace.
That's nice. And so what is your highest intention for the year 2023?
Well, it's really just to remain as open and flexible as I can to new revelations and learning experiences, which in turn help me to be more positive and self-empowered in my outlook. The experiences of that past life are now being beautifully balanced out with help from the other soul involved. We do need to cultivate trust and deeper understanding, which becomes stronger once we tap into the bigger picture from the higher soul aspect. I'm so grateful for this. I can also see now why the Gray family encouraged me so strongly to learn Tai Chi in the first face-to-face meeting I had with them back in 1983. Practices like Tai Chi, Qigong and yoga assist in keeping our body flexible. And because we operate in oneness, flexibility of body also assists flexibility of mind. It's rigidity of mind that blocks our path of evolution.
So open your heart and the light and love will come in. So thanks Judy and Maris for this great advice. Staying as flexible as we can is an important key to our evolutionary path into 5D reality. So if you're interested in Judy's books, they are available from Amazon, or you can go through her website listed below. The first book in the Zeta series is
Human by Day, Zeta by Night, followed by The Zeta Message, then Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and my two most recent books, both Kindle editions and both also available in German. It's so funny. An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective.
Thanks, Jude, and thank you so much for listening, everyone. And if you like this video, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe to this channel. So sending you all so much love and blessings for a happy and safe Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, and bye for now.